Welcome to Kwachangwe, welcome to Kwachangwe. Now, this is the currency that we use in Zambia. It means it's a new day, it's a new dawn. It also means pressing the button, starting again. If you're going a different direction, you take a different route. If you are lost, it's time to turn around and ask for direction or ask people to lead you in the right place. This is what Kwachangwe means. Now, Kuchangwe, it's not time to be sleeping, it's time to wake up. That's what Kwachangwe means in Zambia. And this is what it is. But at the moment, Zambia is not in the new dawn, I would say. I think we're experiencing a lot of darkness going on in our country today. You know, I grew up in Chilabombwe, Konkola, that's where I grew up. I went to Chilabombwe Secondary School, that's where I was. I also worked in the mining industry there in Konkola, so I know very well. But I was depressed in a sense, breathless, mouthless, when I was watching what was going on in Chilabombo with all the cadres with their plaques saying we are the security, PF or whatever, PND is not allowed to come to Chilabombo. That sort of cadrelism that we are seeing in our country is not good for a purpose for our country at all. And this is what we've been talking about. The political system in Zambia needs a lot of reformation, if I may use that terminology. Or if I can use Donald Trump's terminology, we need to drain the swamp of the system of political system that is driven by cadres in our country. This Cadrelism, political driven system is not good for purpose for our nation, because we need the rule of law to take hold in our country. And what we are seeing now, whether it's in Chilabombo, whether it's on the Copper Belt, even on Chimufurila, where the cadres had to storm the radio station where the political leader was supposed to be making his speech, and they stormed it. And what happened? The police never said anything. The police were nowhere to be seen. But last month, when the young people wanted to protest peacefully, the government said and the police said they're going to break their bones, and they sent police officers and with trucks and guns on the streets, as if the young people were rioting, as if they were thugs, But when the political cadres go out, the police are nowhere to be seen. And this is the kind of divisiveness that we are seeing in Zambia, politics of divisiveness. I call it a national game park politics, where we are creating a Zambia to be like a national game park, where there's a lot of seclusion, where animals have to, like the impalas have to be in one place, they don't cross over to the other place. Whatever you can call, elephants live the other side, zebras live on the other side, monkeys have to live. It's like Lusaka is like the place for the elephants, and then Copper Belt, maybe the lions and zebras have to live in Northwestern Province. So it is sort of a game park, a national game park kind of politics that is divisive, is not the kind of a country that our forefathers fought for. Zambia is a one Zambia, one nation driven country. Our forefathers fought for the independence of each and every Zambian who holds a national registration card, regardless of their ideology, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their status, whether they are poor, old, whether they are physically challenged. They are all Zambians, and they all deserve the human right. They all have the right to speak out. And that's just a basic human right. We need to speak out, and you cannot deny people from speaking out. And this is the Zambia that their forefathers fought for. But what we are seeing now for decades in Zambia, a politics that is driven by cadrelism, where the politicians no longer serve the will of the people that voted them in power, but they are all driven by enriching their political cadres, where there is no rule of law, that is not the kind of a nation that would prosper, and you see investment in a country like that. What we need in Zambia, we need a system that is totally changed. We need to change the system of politics that is driven, inward looking, driven by Cadrelism. And I pray and hope that all those who are aspiring for leadership in the next year's election should come out and tell us where they stand in terms of Cadrelism. Whether it's the HH should come out and tell the youths, where are you going to do? What are you going to do with your cadres, Mr. HS, Mr. Hlema? Are you going to promise the Zambian people that your political party will not be driven by Cadrelism as we have seen these other political parties like PF? Or are you going to be the same kind of gonna be also be going with the same system? We need to get you to speak out, Mr. HH, and tell us what your policies are on Cadrelism, because the political parties, the system of governance that is driven by Cadrelism has fostered corruption, has fostered injustice, is not been good for purpose for our nation. Is suppressed freedom of speech, and we need to all the political parties, whether it's MMD, whether it is HH, or whatever political party that you stand under, you should promise the Zambian people that your political party will be driven by one Zambia, one nation, and we adhere to consolidate every Zambian and the unity of the nation. This idea of inward looking of political parties is not good for the nation. I think it's time to drain the swamp. I'm so disgusted with this kind of political system that we have in Zambia, that even after 56 years, we are still struggling and troubling and fighting amongst ourselves, when we should have a proper, mature, critical, criticism that criticizes and agreeing to disagree and think and talk about things that would promote the economy, that would promote the development in our nation. This idea that if you criticize, you get broken up or you get thrown in jail. Other people have more freedom than others. When others speak out, they are thrown in jail. When others have stolen, they are taken in jail and taken out in the second day. This is a total hypocrisy, especially for a country that calls itself a Christian nation, when there's so much injustice, there's so much corruption, there's no transparency. The leadership is muted. It's been muted for a long period of time. They can't speak out. At a crucial time like this, when the nation needs to hear a voice of hope, a voice of transparency, a voice of quality, all we hear from our leadership is nothing. This kind of leadership is not good for purpose at all. And I think it's high time that we Zambians smell the coffee or smell the beans and chose a robust kind of leadership, because the world today is not in a good place. Zambia has so many fronts to fight. We have the front line of fighting poverty. We have the front line of fighting a poor health sector, front line of joblessness. Our graduates can't find jobs. We have no innovation. We have no industry. All these poor are becoming much poorer. The rich are getting poorer. All this front line that we need to fight against, let alone to fight against the tentacles that coming from China and the infiltration of China on our system, and also the debt that we have to deal with. We have so many fronts to fight as Zambians, and if we are going to be fighting amongst ourselves, there's no way as a nation we are going to develop. I think this politics that is divisive, that is driven by Cadrelism, is a politics that needs to be totally driven out of our nation. We need leadership that is robust enough. And I think I have a suggestion today. I'm going to suggest maybe I think it's high time that we chose a young woman to be a leader in Zambia. Because what we have seen is that these egocentric, male-centric driven politics in Zambia has not served our Zambian people very well. I pray that God will raise up a young woman who is visionary, who can speak for the Zambian people, who has sympathy for the Zambian people. Because there's a saying, actually, it could be true, that if you give a young lady 200 kwacha, the first thing she will think of is to buy ubunga. She will think of buying food for her children. But when you give a man 200,000 kwacha, all he's going to think about is his mate, to go and buy beer for his friends. That is what men think about, is how to, the more male-centric, this kind of leadership, that's what we see. And I think maybe it's high time that, Zambia chose a young lady who is visionary, robust enough, who can lead our nation and inspire the Zambian people to become hardworking, innovative, and industrious nations. So we also, as Zambia, will become a proud nation like other nations, like Ghana, like Tanzania, like President Kagame, other nations. We will be proud of our nation. A leader that will speak out for the interests of the people, not only for the interests of their own political party or their tribe, but as a leader that will consolidate and bring about unity in our nation. But this leadership of divisiveness and speak is not good enough at all. It's not serving the interests of our nation. So I think it's high time. I pray that God, by God's grace, can God give us a young lady? God give us a young lady, maybe. We know that these men have not served us well at all. They're just too much of men. They just want to be big enough, drive big cars and big big fat bank accounts and all that, so they're driven about. But I think if we can maybe choose a young lady, maybe she will be robust enough and visionary enough, more articulating enough, and lead our nation to prosperity, because we have a lot of battles to fight as Zambians, and we cannot afford to waste more years of squabbling, fighting Cadrelism. I think Cadrelism is a cancer to the nation, is a cancer to our land, is the biggest, more than malaria in Zambia. Cadrelism is spoiling, is stealing, is ravaging our country, and it's time that we uprooted it out of our system and let Zambia become one Zambia, one nation, as our forefather fought for. So please give it thumbs up if you like this video, and let me hear from you. One Zambia, one nation. This is the Zambia that we fought for. Take away Cadrelism out of the system. Where are we now? Where are you? Why can't you speak out? We need people to speak out for Zambia. We need a voice for Zambia. A voice that will resonate in other parts of the world and make Zambia proud again. As Zambian, we want to be proud again and to be called Zambian. Not to be stepped upon. We don't want to be looked upon like a stepping stone by any other country. People just come and steal our resources from within and without. We need a leadership that will protect our resources, a leadership that will develop our country, a leadership that will make Zambia proud again, a leadership that will inspire the young people, that they will be proud to be called Zambian. That's what we need. And that's what it is. It's time to smell the coffee. Kwachangwe. Kwachangwe. If you like this video, please subscribe and share with all your friends and your grannies and all your brothers and let them know Kwachangwe is here. May God bless you and God bless Zambia. God bless Chingola.